Y'all, we're live. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stand and face Jerusalem and open up.
See a little crack in the yeah, right here. Kind of the catch point there. Yep.
All right, we open it up with Psalms 1 in its entirety. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish.
All praise.
Hallelujah. Say loud.
Like I say, happy Sabbath. Shabbat shalom to everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Are we anybody on the YouTube? Can anybody log in to see? Make sure this string, this
Man, you
new
on YouTube, man?
I can't get
this
No,
new
I
device
thought you
working.
already know.
Man, get my notes, man. Let me listen to you. Yeah, we'll make sure that this new platform is working. Because I don't know if it's working or not.
Yeah, you did.
YouTube working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good on them.
All right, so still all praise.
praise.
All right. All right, let's get into this lesson. Today's lesson is part 2 of the curses, captivity, and the recovery of the Hebrew Israelites. Last week we dealt with the curses and the captivity. We went over how the 12 tribes, how Joseph was sold down in Egypt, how they ended up down in Egypt. And we went over, there was a famine in the land, the whole house of Israel ended up down there. We showed where he raised up Moses to deliver the children out of Egypt. And they went into the wilderness. And the Lord, the Most High Yah, communed with Moses, gave him laws, statutes, commandments to get to the children of Israel. They said all that you said we're going to do, but that wasn't the case. So we're going to pick up where they was in the wilderness, and they went into the land. So before they went into the land, let's pick up another few spots. We're going to go into Leviticus. We're going to go into Leviticus chapter 26. If anybody can post it in the room. Leviticus chapter 26. We're going to start it off there. And we're going to read verses 1 through 8. We're going to do some skipping. Leviticus chapter 26. And we're going to pick it up. Let me get there. Shalom, shalom, family. Leviticus chapter 26. We're going to read some more of these curses because, we went in Deuteronomy and 28 and walked it down a little bit. So we're going to read a little bit about these curses in Leviticus chapter 26. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. We're going to do some skipping. We're just going to read a few of these curses, then we're going to just jump right on in.
All praise, brother.
Go ahead and read, brother.
All right, Leviticus 26, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
You shall make you no idols, nor graven image.
Right.
Neither rear you up a standing image.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God.
That's right. Go ahead.
Ye shall keep my Sabbath and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord.
We have a problem with that to this day. Let that marinate just a tad bit.
Yeah, they had to marinate on me, man.
He said, you should keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. Go ahead and read, brother.
If ye walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season.
Yeah.
And the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield her fruit.
That's right, because Israel, hey, they had everything. They had cattle and everything. They had groves, they had vineyards and everything. So that was their food, right? The Lord took care of everything for them. So if it didn't rain, no food, you can't feed the cattle unless they go out, and take them somewhere else.
Right.
But you still need the food.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage,
Mm-hmm.
and the vintage shall reach into the sowing time.
Mm-hmm. That's another, yeah.
Woo. And ye shall eat your bread to the full and dwell in your land safe.
Mm-hmm. That's if you keep his laws and commandments. But that wasn't the case. Go ahead.
And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land.
Yes, sir.
Neither shall the sword go through your land.
Man, you mean to tell me I can just lay out there in the field?
Man,
Just knocked out, the eyes closed, ain't got to worry about nothing. No snakes, none of that stuff. Go ahead and read.
It say, and neither shall the sword go through your land. Verse 7. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight.
Boy, that's scary, there.
Yeah.
You mean just 5 of you gonna run off 100 jokers? But that's not the case, is it?
No.
They got 2 jokers run off a whole crowd of us in a police car. It's turned around, isn't it?
Right, bro.
So what the Most High did, hey, he turned that thing around, and instead of us running, 2 of us running them off, they run over 2 police officers, they run up and run everybody else off. Go ahead and read, bro.
And your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you and make you fruitful and multiply you and establish my covenant with you.
Yes, sir. Where are we, brother?
That was 9.
Okay, skip down to verse 11. Yeah, skip down to verse 11. We'll read 11 through 18.
And I will send my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you and will be your God, and ye shall be my people.
Hey, that's who's supposed to be taking care of us all along. But hey, our forefathers flirted with all these nations, and every time you mess around with a nation, he turn you over to them. We're gonna read that. Every nation you jacked around with, he said, I'm gonna turn them over to and let them dog them out and let them take care of them.
Every night.
Go ahead and read, bro.
I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright. But if ye will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul upon my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant,
what you gonna do?
I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror,
Yes, sir.
consumption, the burning ague that shall consume the eyes, and sorrow of the heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Hey,
Come on, bro.
hey, like I said in the last lesson, hey, you can't be mad at the other nations. This was our forefathers doing, it passed all the way down to us.
Right.
Now, the Most High waking us up and getting us out of this mess. And hey, we got a job like we did talk last night. We learning. We got to go out here and get this work in. What you got, brother?
Hey, I'm just kind of going back to verse 2. Would you meditate for a minute? And it said, ye should keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary.
Yeah.
I look at where reverence up is deep respect.
Yeah.
So I kind of, when you said it, I said, get up to that thing.
That's up.
Deep respect.
Yeah.
That's right. But see, Israel doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You see, we don't respect it at all.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
Then when he just said that burning the ague in that verse 16, that's like one of the side effects of syphilis. And what was a famous experiment they ran on us?
That's right. The Tuskegee
Tuskegee syphilis. You know what I'm saying? That stuff start eating away at your flesh,
Mhm.
start eating your eyes out, like it say right here in the script.
That's right.
Right here in the script.
Mm-hmm. Where are we, bro?
We at verse 7. We at the end of verse 16.
Go ahead.
That shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and you should sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies.
Hey, that's another sign of Israel, isn't it? Go ahead and read.
You should be slain before your enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and they that hate you shall reign over you.
Yeah.
And ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
Same thing they saying in over in Deuteronomy, right? Go ahead and read.
And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sin.
Woo-wee. Drop down to 29. We're gonna read 29 through 34.
And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons,
Mm-hmm.
and the flesh of your daughters
Hey.
shall ye eat.
Hey, we're gonna read that because that happened in the siege. We read that over in Deuteronomy 28, saying that hey, the woman gonna eat her children, in the siege for want of all things. We read that last Sabbath. We're gonna read about that. That actually happened. Go ahead and read.
And you shall eat, and I will destroy your high places,
Mm-hmm.
and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols.
Yeah.
And my soul shall abhor you.
Hey, this happened in 7 AD. We're gonna read it. All of this right here, these 2 verses here. We're gonna look at a little history on that. Go ahead and read, bro.
And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation.
Mm-hmm.
I will not smell the savior of your sweet odor.
Yes.
Ooh, so no more prayers being heard.
No.
That's right, brother.
And I will bring the land into desolation,
Yes, sir.
and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
Mm-hmm. What he gonna do? What else he gonna do?
And I will scatter you among the heathen,
Yeah.
and will draw out a sword after you.
Mm-hmm.
And your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste.
Go ahead.
Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbath,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it lieth desolate, and be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbath.
He said, look here, the land gonna enjoy Sabbath. Why? Because you're gonna be in your enemy's land. So the land can rest.
Right.
So let's skip down to verse 39. We're gonna read 39 through 46. We're in Leviticus chapter 26. For those who just coming in the room, pick it up at verse 39. We're gonna read 39 through 46. Go ahead, my brother.
And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemy's land.
Yeah.
And also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them.
Mm-hmm.
If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers,
Mm-hmm.
with their trespass which they trespass against me,
Mm-hmm.
and that also they have walked contrary unto me.
He said, if you just confess your sin, hey, we're gonna look at a brother was in captivity, in the Babylonian captivity. He caught on, he read the book, he was saying, look, I'm tired of this, I'm ready to get out of here. It is all, we were so focused on Deuteronomy 28, but we ignored Deuteronomy 30. But we're gonna look at it. Go ahead and read, bro.
And that I have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
If then their uncircumcised hearts be humble,
Mm-hmm.
and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity.
Yeah, stop blaming it on everybody else. Well, you read the white man, the other man, and the Hamite man, and everybody except for you.
Right. Everybody except for the one that's sinned.
Right. Go ahead and read, brother.
Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I will remember the land.
Go ahead.
The land shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths,
Mm-hmm.
while she lie desolate without them.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgment, and because their soul abhor my statutes.
Hey, remember the 2 thieves was on the cross?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, when Messiah promised to let him be in the kingdom, he said, you know what? We're getting exactly what we deserve.
Yeah.
You sure did.
You know what I'm saying? He confessed, you know what I did, I did what I did. I got we getting exactly what we deserve. The other one over there railing and stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All we got to do is just accept, hey, this, yeah, we did it. Our fathers did it. You know, it was passed on and passed on. All we got to do is just confess.
In other words, man up.
That's it.
Nice. Yeah.
And go back to, hey, like we're doing now, reading these laws, statutes, commandments, and doing them. Go ahead and read. Where are we, brother?
We at verse 44.
Verse 44. Go ahead.
And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away.
Oh, you're not gonna do what?
All praise.
Cast them away.
So y'all haven't cast away his people.
That's right.
See, a lot of folks be trying to spiritualize. Well, you know, it's a spiritual thing. Yeah, it's got to be a spiritual thing in order for him to deal with us.
That's right.
But he ain't
Right.
cast us away.
Right.
That's right.
Because I remember watching the Gentile. He gonna say he from Ephraim somewhere. They still try to wiggle their way in there somehow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that doctrine going around now.
I thought it was a Gentile. He's a Gentile teacher. Hey,
Mexicans, all this way trying to say.
So my thing is this: where was your people? Show me some pictures y'all on them slave ship.
Yeah.
Show me some pictures y'all on them auction block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
So
Shalom,
it's a
Israel.
proof.
Not the one
Don't-
bad, but the one gets sold.
Don't do this Holocaust thing. I'm talking about the ones they
Yeah.
do these right here curses.
Yeah.
Show me when your people's going through these
He
curses.
years ago, I want to see one of his hands, one of his feet chopped off.
Yeah,
Like they doing them brothers over there in Africa.
yes sir.
Where your hands and feet getting chopped off. I ain't seen none of y'all do that.
No, they say they Jews. They go to the top spot.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and read, bro.
Billy and
Right.
Brother Bob and
So we just keeping it. We just been keeping it real, bro.
That's true.
So you can pull that down. You can pull that on the people who are ignorant, but the dry bones that the Lord raising up,
That's right.
you can't pull it on them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother. He said, "I will not cast them away." Go ahead.
neither will I abhor them
Mm-hmm.
to destroy them utterly
Mm-hmm.
and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God.
Because he's not gonna destroy everybody. Now he gonna get a whole lot of these hard-headed jokers, yeah. But the most of us, he gonna have mercy because hey, we try to do we the ones he raising up so we get out here and get this word out.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you continue in this word. We showed last night, hey, a lot of them came in, but they ain't last long.
That's right.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen,
Mm-hmm.
that I might be their God. I am the Lord.
Yes, sir.
These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses.
That's right. So let's go into Judges. Let's see. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 13. Let's look at these others. Now, they already captivity down in Egypt, right?
That's right.
Judges, chapter 13. And we're going to read verses 1 through 5. Judges 13. And let's look at some other captivities that Israel got themselves into. Judges 13, verses 1 through 5. What does it say, brother?
The children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord.
There you go, doing evil again. So what do? They stopped keeping the law, statutes, commandments.
Thank you.
I don't care how many times you got to say, you got to keep the law, statute, commandment. You read the law, statute, commandment. Israel going to find a way of circumventing a way getting out of doing.
Right, brother.
You read the word again, he's like, again.
Thank you. Yeah.
You think about it. You know some of the stuff. Hey, you know some of the stuff. It's just like, you some of the things you try to stop doing. You find yourself doing it again and again. And you were like, man, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. But you end up doing it again.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yeah. This was a time too.
Like he didn't done it again.
Again, yep. Like the writer was just tired of just running them out.
Like
Again, they done messed up again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read that from the top, T.
Guy, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years.
40 years they was kept down in the Philistine.
again.
Go ahead and read, bro.
There was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites whose name was Manoah.
Yeah.
His wife was burned and burned not.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold, now thou art barren,
Mm-hmm.
and bearest not, and thou shalt conceive and bear a son.
Go ahead.
Now therefore beware, I pray thee,
Yeah.
drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
That's a reason behind that. And let's get ready to tell you that. Because he wanted this woman to be clean as much as possible.
Yeah.
You can't taint what's in your belly. That's in your womb. Why?
For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son.
Yeah.
No razor shall come upon his head.
Mm-hmm.
For the child shall be a Nazarite unto Yah from the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines.
That's right, because the Nazarite can't eat the fruit, drink the fruit of the vine, right?
Right.
No razor can touch
No
that head.
razor or beard, none of that.
None of that.
You wild child until you that bow up.
So now they 40 years in the hand of the Philistines. Let's go look at another one. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17. See, we go from Egypt down to Babylon, but we skip these little other places. You know what I'm saying?
Midian and Philistine.
Yeah. They was always in captivity. That's why he asked, are you a servant? Are you just a homeborn slave?
That's it, bro. Show ass quick. Show.
You born a slave?
Hey, why you acting like that?
Can't hear me that too.
Got this tea right too, boy. Man. All praise. 2 Kings chapter 17. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 8. And then we'll skip down to 14 through 23.
All right.
Let's look at it again. Now, they 430 years in Egypt, right?
Right.
40 years with the Philistines, right?
Right.
Let's see how much time they spent with these cats right here.
What are you
Go ahead and read.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah,
Mm-hmm.
began Hoshea, king of Eli, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years.
Yes, sir.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that was before him.
Because, hey, Israel, kings, they always wait. They had a couple of good ones. Not that many, but just a couple of them. But as long as they had a good king over them, they did well. But look, he said that he did that was evil in the sight of the Lord. Whatever, bro.
Verse 3.
Go ahead and read.
Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria,
Mm-hmm.
and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
Mm-hmm.
The king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea,
Mm-hmm.
for he had sent messages to So, king of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and brought no present to the king of Assyria as he had done year by year. Therefore, the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria.
Yeah.
He carried Israel away into Assyria,
Mm-hmm.
placed them in Halah and
Mm-hmm.
Habor by the river of Gozan,
Mm-hmm.
and the cities of the Medes.
Go ahead.
For it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God,
Mm-hmm.
which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and feared other gods,
Yeah.
and walked in the statutes of the heathen.
He brought in the what?
The statutes of the heathen.
See, that's Israel problem. They always going after these other nations, man.
Come on, bro.
See, it's gonna break through to somebody. That hey, man, we need to leave these people alone.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, they just did all of yesterday. You know, Joker may ask you, you got your Valentine's? I just keep walking.
Man. You want me to tell you irritated me about yesterday? Nah, I wanted some salmon, right? Just to eat for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all year these folk eat crab legs, eat shrimp. That's all y'all eat all year. I went to 3 Kroger's yesterday. I guess just because it was Valentine's Day, and wasn't no fresh salmon nowhere. None. I'm like, so y'all gonna eat clean all year. But on this day, y'all all the salmon gone.
But it's Valentine's.
I said, man. That's why the lady told me it was all out, because people come getting it for Valentine's.
He said, verse 8, and walk in the statutes of the heathen. That's why we tell, hey, I don't know what people in here do. I know I don't touch none of it. None of it. Don't vote. Why am I gonna go vote? Did not the Most High say I set kings and places and everything?
Right,
so why would I go vote?
That's right, brother. That's right. He told you don't set nobody on you that ain't on your brother.
That's right.
You running your butt down. Yeah.
So why do I want to do all they civil and they holiday? Huh?
Mhm.
They're still walking after some of their traditions and customs, ain't it?
They just want to be like the heathen. Yeah.
So you already know if you're a conscious or try to do this Israelite walk, you already know none of this mess gonna go on in the kingdom. You might well, hey, you got purge your, we got purge ourselves right now for this.
Say it, bro.
You gotta go on the purge. You might well go on purge yourself now and get it on out your system and leave this stuff alone.
That's right.
And be ye separate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, when your family over there doing crazy, hey, let them do their crazy stuff.
That's right, bro.
They'll leave you when you start doing your job, like you said last night, and start putting this book on and getting this word. They gonna leave you alone.
Bro, when you say nothing gonna be going on in the kingdom,
No, sir. None of that.
No vote, no nothing.
No, none of that.
you ain't gonna have a say so how I run.
No, sir.
That is dictatorship, man.
It's a dictatorship, and it's called law, statutes, and commandments.
That's it.
That's it. Ain't nothing. There's nothing else.
All praise.
But you know, our people, we submit to the nations, the heathen, so quick. But when it come down to this, you know, we don't mind people asking questions.
Right.
But when you gonna go and ask your pastor some questions?
Come on, bro.
So, bro, you didn't get no Valentine's candy yesterday?
I be honest with you, I didn't realize it was Valentine's Day yesterday. That's the most high honest truth. Be honest with you, till I watched something last night. It mentioned the brothers came on. I was like, damn, the so-called.
I did when I-
Yeah, I didn't realize it was Valentine's Day. I was busy doing other stuff.
Happy Valentine's Day, sweetie. Like it's Valentine's Day.
Because you know they started selling this stuff like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So you know,
Capitalism.
Right.
I don't do cuss of the heat.
so where are we, brother?
We
I'm
at
doing-
verse. We skipping down to verse 14.
Skip down to verse 14. Pick it up, bro.
Verse 14.
Yes, sir.
Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but harden their necks,
Mm-hmm.
like to the neck of their father.
Yay.
They did not believe in the Lord their God.
Yeah.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, his testimonies which he testified against them. They followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them,
Going back after them nations, right?
concerning whom the Lord had charged them,
Mhm.
they should not do like them.
That's right.
And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God
Mm-hmm.
and made them molds and images, even 2 calves, and made a grove and worship all the hosts of heaven and serve Baal.
Woo.
And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire
Mm-hmm.
and used divination and enchantments
Mm-hmm.
and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord.
Now this is our forefathers now.
Yep.
Now I'm wondering if some of this stuff is going on to this day,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
passing through the fire.
yeah, they doing.
Enchantments, divination.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the DNA? Because I hear a lot of heathen folks say, well, you know, when you talk to them about the scripture about your forefathers, what they did is the punishment is up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't do it, but hey,
You benefiting from it.
that's it.
Right. So you're not, that don't make you innocent at that point. You
Right.
still benefiting from all the old slave money they done made off us.
That's it, bro.
Y'all got estates with your name still on it. You benefit from it, so you're going to get punished.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
130-year head start.
Thank
Financial experience.
Yeah, you reap the benefits.
You know what I'm
so
saying?
you.
you gotta receive the punishment.
Your kids and your kids' kids don't have to worry about nothing
That's right, bro.
because of your forefather, what they were doing on the slave plantation and slave master.
Right. So where are we, brother?
We are at verse 16. Now verse 17.
All right.
I'm reading
We'll hold up, let
17
everybody
over.
come on in. For those of you just joined us on Facebook and YouTube, we're in 2 Kings chapter 17, and we're at verse 16.
17.
17
Yeah,
and
we
verse 17.
17, yeah.
Go ahead and read, brother.
All right. It says, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger.
Go ahead.
Therefore, the Lord was angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. And there was none left but the tribe of Judah.
So that's the 10 tribes he got rid of, right?
That's right.
So he moved the 10 tribes out of his sight. These are the ones that was amongst the Gentile and or the other nations. But we had somebody else. He said they were carried into Assyria, right?
Yep.
So all these other nations are heathen nations, right? Go ahead and read.
It says, verse 19, and
Mhm.
Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers until he cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin.
See, that's why you got to really be careful. Even right today, you start going in dealing with some of these assemblies. People over you, well, I'm gonna say over you, but people teaching you, they can teach you to do wickedness. They'll throw you some truth in there and have you doing some stuff. We see that. You don't see all that tomorrow. Ain't it?
Yes,
Remember, we used to be there. Yeah, we talking about some of these Israelite camps too. Go ahead and read, bro.
For the Lord rent Israel from the house of David. Now I read that verse 22. I'm sorry. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
That's why the 10 tribes sitting up there in the north, right? Go ahead and read, bro.
And the king.
No, son, that's good. That's good. We just need to know that the 10, the 10 tribes, they was carried away into the hands of the Assyrian. Let's go to flip over to 2 Kings chapter 21. 2 Kings chapter 21, we'll read verses 1 through 22. Just look at it again. Now, they was in Egypt. Then they was in the hand of the Philistines.
21, 24.
2 Kings chapter 21. Read verses 1 through 22. 140 years down in Egypt. 40 years with the Philistines. Hanging out, now they with the Assyrians, huh?
That's right. Moving on.
They still slaving in.
That's right.
So no wonder Israel's so comfortable. I just say United States.
Being in Bunny.
They just love it, man. But a few of us don't. We'll read Nehemiah. Nehemiah, like, man,
That's right.
I'm tired of this. 2 Kings chapter 21, pick it up at 1. What did it say, brother?
Says Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hephzibah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
Right.
Boy, he did too, huh? Go ahead and read.
After the abominations of the heathen.
Going after them heathens again. Go ahead.
Whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. For he built up again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed. He reared up altars for Baal and made a grove, as did Ahab king of Israel, and worshiped all the host of heaven and served them. And he built altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord said, in Jerusalem will I put my name.
Hey, he did the same thing that the other brother did, didn't he? And had them doing, the children of Israel, they're doing the same thing.
That's right, bro.
Worshiping the host of heaven.
That's right.
It's repeating the same old stuff over and over. Every time you give these other nations, that's why he told Israel not to marry these other nations.
PT2.
Why they got so much influence on Israel?
Cause we see.
Yep.
We gonna follow whoever in the position, in the leadership position. Just like sheep do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Where we, brother?
We in verse 5.
Go ahead.
And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the two courts
Mm-hmm.
of the house of the Lord.
Go ahead.
And he made his son pass through the fire
Mm-hmm.
and observed times and used enchantments, dealt with familiar spirits and
Mhm.
wizards. Ooh. And he wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger.
I wonder where he learned it from.
His father. Well,
They-
he didn't learn from his father.
They
His father was righteous.
Father.
Yeah.
right. So see how this thing start coming down?
Yeah.
When you start doing wicked, you got the influence, and it start rolling down here, rolling down. It's just like, remember we used to do Christmas and all that other stuff. Our parents used to do it. Their parents used to do it. Hey, same thing here.
Roll down here.
Rolling down here, man.
And passing through the fire back then was sacrificing your kids to Moloch.
Mm-hmm.
They passing through the fire now, but let them celebrate all these heathen customs,
Mm-hmm.
Christmas and all that. You passing your kids through the fire because you give them spiritual idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
In their mind, you
Yeah.
sacrificing your kids, man. You don't even know it. And they passing through the fire.
Something that can get you thrown head first in the lake of fire, man. Go ahead and read, bro.
And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in the house,
Mm-hmm.
of which the Lord said to David and to Solomon his son,
Mhm.
and this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever.
Go ahead.
Neither will I make the feet of Israel move any more out of the land which I gave their fathers, only if they were observed to do according to all that I commanded them, and according to all the law that my servant Moses commanded them.
Hey, that's the only way we can get in there. You cannot get into the land unless you keep the law, statutes, commandments. That's it. That's the key right there.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Go ahead and read.
But they hearkened not, and Manasseh seduced them to do more evil than did the nations whom the Lord destroyed before the children of Israel.
Hey, look. That's why the nations read this book. If we want to keep Israel in captivity, all we got to do is come up with something and keep them from keeping law, statutes, commandments. We give them all our little device. They read the book. They know this.
That's right.
We don't, because we don't want to hear it. Because we want to attach ourselves to these other nations. And they know that. All we got to do is just keep y'all from serving y'all God, keep y'all from law, statutes, commandments,
That's it.
and we got you.
That's it.
Because you got to keep in mind, these nations are under the influence of Satan the devil. Satan the devil knows how to get the children of Israel to break the law, statutes, commandments.
He's a deceiver.
Yeah, he deceive. So go ahead and read.
Verse 10, and Yahweh spake unto his servants, the prophets, saying, because Manasseh, king of Judah, have done these abominations and have done wickedly
Yeah.
above all that the Amorites did, which were before him, have made Judah also to sin with his idols.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, thus said the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such an evil upon Jerusalem and Judah,
Mm-hmm.
that whoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle.
Mm-hmm.
And I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria,
Mm-hmm.
and the plummet of the house of Ahab, and I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down.
Boy, he get doing a number on Israel.
And I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
and deliver them into the hand of their enemies. They shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies,
Mm-hmm.
because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger,
Mm-hmm.
since the day their fathers came forth out of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
even unto this day.
Since they came out of Egypt, he gave them law, statutes, command. They still was going rogue to this day.
He rejected.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Moreover, Manasseh shed innocent blood very much,
Mm-hmm.
till he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another. Beside his sin wherewith he made Judah to sin in doing that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Now the rest of the acts of Manasseh and all that he did, and his sin that he sinned, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?
Yes, they are, because we're going to look at it too. Go ahead and read.
And Manasseh slept with his fathers, and was buried in the garden of his own house,
Mm-hmm.
in the garden of Uzzah, and Ammon his son reigned in his stead.
Mm-hmm.
Ammon was 22 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Meshullemeth, the daughter of Haruz and Jotbah.
And what did he do?
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
See how you have influence over your children?
Yeah.
You corrupt your children. You know what I'm saying? And then they corrupt their children. And then when their children raise up, they corrupt their children. Somebody got to cut. It's gonna be somebody somewhere down the line might decide, you know what? Man, we've been going out.
Man.
Chronicles of the King of Judah. Where can I read that at?
Right here in the 66.
Chapter 33.
Go ahead and read.
It says verse 20, verse 21, I'm sorry. He walked in all the way that his father walked in and served the idols that his father served and worshiped them. He forsook the Lord God of his fathers and walked not in the way of the Lord.
That's right.
And the servants of Ammon conspired against him and slew the king in his own house.
That's good. Let's move a little farther. Let's go to flip on over to chapter 24. Now his fathers taught him, and more than likely he did evil right. It's more likely if he had children, he's gonna do the same thing. They're gonna keep going on and going on and going on. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 24. 2 Kings chapter 24, we're going to pick it up. We're going to read verses 1 through 5, and then we're going to skip down to 10 through 17. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read.
In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. And he turned and rebelled against him. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldeans, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants the prophets.
Hey, he said a whole bunch of judges after Judah. It's going to sound familiar too. Go ahead and read.
Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight, for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did.
Now he already removed Israel out of his sight. Now he's working on Judah. Israel, look here, Israel already did bad. The house. Now Judah following the footsteps of Israel. Go ahead and read, bro.
And also for the innocent blood that he shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. And now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, were they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?
Yes, it is. We're going to look at it. Skip down to verse 10. We'll read 10 through 17.
At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it.
Go ahead.
And Jehoiachin, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
Go ahead.
And he carried out thence all treasures of the house of the Lord.
Oh, so they're going to go and sack the temple, right?
And the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold, which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord has said.
So they go straight for the riches. They go straight to the temple, because that's where they kept all the gold and stuff. Go ahead and read.
And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captains, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiachin to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wife, and his officers, and the mighty of the land. Those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon.
He took all the people who can build. Everybody had skills and had knowledge. He took out of there, didn't he? Because he had a purpose to use it. And like just like in America, when you have intelligence and do certain things, they could use it for something. But the ones who don't have any skill, they look here. I want to get rid of these folks. All they doing is sitting around and loafing I got to take care of them. We could use all the other people, intelligent people. People got skill sets. We could use them. These other folk, man, let's find a way to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff going on. It's written right here in the book. All we gotta do is read the book and then see what's going on.
That's it, man.
I don't care. It's just like you think about it. They use what? Condoleezza Rice. Think about all the one, Colin Powell.
Sell out Negroes.
They use all these folks up there in the government, and then you start working your way down. What's the doctor?
Ben Coons.
Yeah, they start using all these people,
Coons.
and then right,
Martin Luther King too.
Coons.
a whole lot. Yeah, pastors, all these folks. They use the same thing that's going on here. They use the same thing in this book, same tactic.
Yep.
All we gotta do is read the book and then look at the people, read the book, look and see what's going on. Same stuff going on.
Ain't nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Go ahead and read.
Says, and he carried away, all the men of might, even 7,000, and craftsmen and smith 1,000, all that was strong and apt for war. Even them, the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon.
Right.
And the king of Babylon made Mattaniah, his father's brother, king in his stead, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Keep going.
Well, we stopped at 22.
I'm at 18.
Yeah, go ahead and read.
Zedekiah was 21 years old.
No, that's good. I'm sorry. Let's go to flip on over to 25. Let's look at this Babylonian captivity. 2 Kings chapter 25. 2 Kings 25, and we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna read verses 1 through 11. Now, like I said, from Egyptian captivity, Philistine or the Philistines, the Assyrians. Now we got Babylon, right?
Right.
Let's look at it. Verses 1 through 11. What does it say, brother?
And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, the Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it. And they built forts against it round about, and the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Ooh, that sounds familiar. He said they did what to the
Besieged.
They besieged the city, and they made
Pitched against it.
round about.
Yep.
We're gonna look at this later on when we go into the New Testament. Same thing that's going on. They doing the same thing that's what Titus then will come down and do. Go ahead and read.
And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city. There was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which is by the king's garden.
Yeah.
Now the Chaldeans were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army were scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him.
Hey, this is gonna sound familiar when we start reading into this history, and when we start reading this history on the siege of Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
And they slew the king, and they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of Yahweh, or the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. And every great man's house burnt he with fire.
Yes, sir.
And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard break down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon, with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away.
He carried them away. He carried them into Babylon, right? So every time he go in that siege, they besiege the city. They ransack the temple. They burn the houses. They burn everything up. and they take the people and put them in captivity. Let's move. Let's go to the Chronicles. It's mentioned in the Chronicles, right? Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 36. Let's go to the records. 2 Chronicles chapter 36. How we looking on time?
151.
2 Chronicles 36. We're gonna pick it up at 9. We're gonna read 9 through 23. We're gonna see what's going on in Babylon. Go ahead and read, brother. Because he said it was recorded. Let's read some of the stuff that was recorded in the Chronicles. Go ahead.
Jehoiachin was 8 years old when he began to reign.
Mm-hmm.
He reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
He did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And when the year was expired, King Nebuchadnezzar brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of the Lord, made Zedekiah his brother a king over Judah and Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord.
Now you're a little puffed up, huh? Go ahead.
He also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by God, but he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel.
So he going against the government, right?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord which he had hallowed in Jerusalem.
Just reading the records on it. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of Yah, despised his words, and misused his prophets. So the wrath of the Lord arose against the people, till there was no remedy.
So that let us know now, man, Israel, we something else with ourselves, ain't
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you read stuff like this, your circle should be getting smaller and smaller. You know what I'm saying?
That's right,
I'm never
brother.
gonna keep it 100.
You right.
Yes.
I mean, it's I say just drop it down a little bit.
Yeah. We sorry, man. That's all it is. We sorry.
If we not trying to be holy, if we don't walk in the spirit, you won't want anybody. If you try to walk in the spirit and keep the laws, statutes, commandments,
They work this way.
hey, your spirits are like, you know what? I need you to get away from me. You know, you be wanting.
I gotta cut ties with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you speak in His word, it's gonna like that sword come down through. They're gonna cut it anyway.
That's right.
But by reading this stuff and the wickedness that our people doing, and then you sit back and think about it, man. It sound like some of my family members.
Yeah.
Or that sound like, you know,
Somebody
some people that you associate with.
That's it.
Well, you know, I used to be, but like, you know, going through all the same stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you start moving away, and like you say, your whole circle should be getting smaller and smaller, man. Go ahead and read.
But they mocked the messengers of Yah, and despised his words and misused his prophets, till the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, had no compassion on the young man or maid, old man, or him that stooped for age.
Yeah, that sound like Deuteronomy 50. One of them Deuteronomies said that, you know, you want these people with a fierce conscience, and they're not gonna regard the person that are old or young, none of that.
Yeah.
You know, Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus was on the table when all this stuff was going on. Go ahead and read.
And all the vessels of the house of Yah, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon. They burnt the house of Yah and break down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof.
Yes, sir.
And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
That's right, because you know that statue that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed. We're talking about the different, I'm gonna say, hierarchies of the Gentile dynasty.
Right.
Now it's being passed. It's gonna be passed on down. Because you had what? Babylon, the Medes and the Persians, and then you got the Greeks. And the only way you can read about the Greeks, you go into the first and second Maccabees and read about how they were treating the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And then now we'll get down into the Romans. We'll read about that when we get to New Testament. Go ahead on.
To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Shabbats. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years.
So as long as we wasn't there, everything was good. Let's move a little further, y'all. Let's go to
Read 20 through 23.
yeah, go ahead and read that 22, 23.
All right. Verse 22. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom.
Yeah.
And put it also in writing. Then Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms, then thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth have the Lord God of heaven given me, and have charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord God be with him. Let him go up.
That's right, because you know the Messiah is going to be born, and he had to be born over there in Jerusalem, right? So he had to have the temple and everything there. Let's move the far. Let's go to Ezra chapter 1. Flip on over to Ezra chapter 1. We'll read verses 1 through 5. And then we're going to get into the New Testament. Ezra chapter 1, we read verses 1 through 5. What does it say, brother?
Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. He made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in the writing, saying,
What did it say?
Thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, Lord God of heaven had given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and have charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem.
We just read that in the Chronicles, right? We just read that in the reference. Go ahead.
Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go to Jerusalem, which is at Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem.
Yes, sir.
Whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the man of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the free will offering for the house of Yah that is in Jerusalem.
Because you know they, like I said, when they carried him away into Babylon, he took all the carpenters, the smiths, all the ones who had the talent to build and everything. Now he calling them out. Hey, y'all need to go back up and build this temple. Go ahead and read.
Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah, Benjamin, and the priests, and the Levites, with all them whose spirit Yah had raised, to go and build the house of Yahweh, which is in Jerusalem.
Oh, that's it. Let's move. Let's go to Matthew. Let's look at it. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Now, let's move a little farther. We know that Nebuchadnezzar had that dream about that statue, right? Daniel had to come and break it down to him. So we know it was basically dealing with the Gentile dynasty. We talk about Babylon, the Medes and the Persians. They took over. The Greeks came in for a little while and had that thing. And now the Romans have it. Now we really, a lot of people don't realize we right up on the Roman rule.
Still to this day.
We up on the Roman rule. They already got their church. They call it the, I'm gonna say, unholy Roman Catholic Church.
Great God.
Now this is Messiah at the temple. You know, Every time Israel gets a building or whatever, they want to show their stuff out. To this day. I guess when we get us one, we're gonna show it out too, ain't we?
Yeah.
It's just like a new house. I mean, come check my house out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or a brand new car.
Yep.
Man, let me come check this ride out, man. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. We'll read 2 verses 1 and 2. Listen to what Messiah telling his disciples. What did it say, bro?
Yahweh went out and departed from the temple.
Mm-hmm.
His disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
What did he tell them?
Yahweh said unto them, see ye not all these things?
Mm-hmm.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Hey,
Right.
that's in blood, and it's going to happen. But let's go to Matthew chapter 19. He telling them so. You can read the rest of it on your own. Flip over to Luke chapter 19. He let them know, hey man, this temple gonna come down. And he told them some other things too, but we just dealing with the captivity and what's gonna happen to Israel and what happened to the temple. Luke chapter 19 and pick it up at verse 41 through 44. What did it say, my brother?
And when he was come near and
Mm-hmm.
beheld the city and wept over it,
Mm-hmm.
saying, if thou hadst known, even thou at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace,
Mm-hmm.
but now they are hid from thine eyes.
You know what? I'm gonna show you a picture. The reason why he was weeping on because he saw the vision what was gonna happen to the city and everything. He already knew what was gonna happen to the people. They didn't know,
Right.
but he knew. That's why he was telling them, the disciples, you see all these things. There should be not one stone upon another should not be thrown down. Go ahead and read, bro.
For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee,
Mm-hmm.
and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side,
Mm-hmm.
and shall lay thee even with the ground,
Mm-hmm.
thy children within thee, that shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation.
That's right. Let's flip on over to Luke chapter 21. Because he let them know about the children. He said they're gonna circle, they're gonna put a trench about the city. You ain't gonna be able to get out of this. Why? Because Israel always going out to other nations. You want you some heathen, you want to be like the heathen, I'm gonna give you some heathen. Here it is right here. Let's go to like I said, Luke 21, pick it up at verse 20. What did it say, brother?
For ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
Mm-hmm.
then know that the desolation thereof is not.
Yeah.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
Mm-hmm.
Let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Hey, it was a point because he gave them a sign. He said, hey, when you see these armies start loading up, y'all need to get out of here. But you think everybody in Jerusalem listen to that?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing to this day. It's gonna be a time to get up out of here, and Israel gonna be sitting right here. Wherever part of the earth they own, it's gonna be a time for them to go, and they're gonna be sitting there. Go ahead and read, bro. Where are we?
Verse 22.
Verse 22. Go ahead.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Yes, sir.
But woe unto them that are with child,
Mm-hmm.
to them that give suck in those days.
Mm-hmm.
For there should be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people.
Mm-hmm.
They shall fall by the edge of the sword, shall be led away captive into all nations.
Hey, we read that in Deuteronomy 28, didn't
Mm-hmm.
he? Read that in Leviticus. See, all this happened time after time after time to doing the Philistines, the Syrian, Babylonian. Hey, go back to the nation. You want to be with these nations? I'm going to send you back to these nations. You want to flirt around with these nations? I'm going to send you back to these nations. And let them whip up on your head.
Come.
Go ahead and read.
Read verse 24.
24.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and
Mhm.
shall be led away captive into all nations.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars
Mm-hmm.
upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring.
Mm-hmm.
Men's hearts fell in them for fear,
Mm-hmm.
and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
Go ahead.
Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory.
That's why he said that when you start seeing these signs in the moon and all that stuff, you know he's coming to get his people. Go ahead. Verse 28.
And when those things begin to come to pass,
Mm-hmm.
then look up,
Mm-hmm.
lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Hey, that'll give Israel a little hope.
Hallelujah.
When he gave you some signs and everything, he was talking about the moons and the stars and all this other. He said, hey, when you start seeing some signs and wonders in the sky, just know that your redemption. Let's give us a little hope that our king is coming back together. Let's read a little history about Jerusalem. I'm gonna see, can I pull this up on here? We're gonna read the siege of Jerusalem. Let me pull it up right quick. Try these new things out, family. Y'all just hold tight. We can kicked it up a notch. Yes, sir. I hope I got the right one. Let me take that down. Put this back up front. Let's move this up. Y'all bear with it, brother. We try to stretch it out for you. Let's read a little history. If y'all can see that, put a one in the room. If y'all can see that pretty clear.
Were you on YouTube?
Yes, on YouTube. Now we're gonna repost this on Facebook so everybody be able to see it. All right. Now,
You get in one, bro. I ain't got on it yet.
how we looking on? Make sure everybody on Facebook be able to see it.
I ain't got no one on Facebook.
Yeah, you can barely see it on Facebook because I'm lying. I thought you.
What about on YouTube? YouTube looking good?
You on the screen share?
Y'all don't see it on YouTube? Oh, hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute.
I don't see the screen share yet.
Let me do something right quick, y'all. I'm acting goofy. How about that?
There you go.
You looking pretty good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's read a little history right here on the siege of Jerusalem. This happened in 70 AD. Brother T, read that from the beginning. I'll tell you what, let's read. Yeah, read this, the siege of Jerusalem, and then we're going to stop down here September 70 CE.
right.
Go ahead and read that, brother.
All right.
Mhm.
The siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 CE was a decisive event of the First Jewish-Roman War, in which the Roman army captured the city of Jerusalem and destroyed the city and its temple.
Mhm.
The Roman army, led by the future Emperor Titus, with Tiberius Julius Alexander as his second in command,
Mhm.
besieged and conquered the city of Jerusalem, which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions since 66 CE, following the Jerusalem riots of 66.
Mhm.
And when the Judean provisional government was formed in Jerusalem, the siege of the city began on 14th April 70 CE,
Mhm.
3 days before the beginning of Passover that year.
Beginning of what?
Passover.
Because they knew, hey, if we could get them in one spot, we could get them. See, they study us, y'all. We get them in one spot. We know they're gonna be there because they got to be there. Go ahead and read, bro.
And it ended. Nah, I'm sorry. What was I?
You talking about 3 days
Okay,
before the Passover,
The
right?
siege lasted for about 4 months.
Mhm.
It ended in August 70 CE on Tisha B'Av with the burning and destruction of the second temple.
Mhm.
The Romans did enter and sack the lower city. The Arch of Titus, celebrating the Roman sack of Jerusalem and the temple, still stands in Rome. The
Mhm.
conquest of the city was complete on approximately 8 September 70 CE.
Okay, hold it right there. I'm gonna pull up another one. I want you to read this right here. And hold a minute. Let me minimize this one. Pull the other one up. Let me pull this other one up right here. And then we're gonna come right back to that. Hold on for a minute. There we go. Now, this right here is the Roman destroyed the temple at Jerusalem. Let's read, Brother T. We're gonna read. I'm gonna highlight it on here what I want you to read, and then go ahead. You go ahead and read. I'm gonna highlight it on here so the people on here can see it.
In the year 66 AD, the Jews of Judea rebelled against their Roman masters.
Mm-hmm.
In response, the Emperor Nero dispatched an army under the generalship of Vespasian to restore order.
Mm-hmm.
By the year 68, resistance in the northern part of the province had been eradicated, and the Romans turned their full attention to the subjugation of Jerusalem. That same year, the Emperor Nero died by his own hand,
That's right, because he committed suicide.
creating a power vacuum in Rome.
Uh-huh.
In the result, chaos. Vespasian was declared emperor and returned to the imperial city.
Mm-hmm.
It fell to his son Titus
Mm-hmm.
to lead the remaining army in the assault on Jerusalem. The Roman legions surrounded the city.
They did what?
Surrounded the city.
Oh, we read that, didn't we? We read that over to the king where they did the same thing, right? So they got their same tactics, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and read, because you know they pretty much the same people. Go ahead and read.
Right. And began to slowly squeeze the life out of the Jewish stronghold.
Uh-huh.
By the year 70, the attackers had breached Jerusalem's outer walls and began a systematic ransacking of the city.
Mm-hmm.
The assault culminated in the burning and destruction of the temple that served as the center of Judaism.
We read that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Go ahead and read.
In victory, the Romans slaughtered thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Of those spurred from death, thousands more were enslaved and sent to toil in the mines of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Others were dispersed to arenas throughout the empire to be butchered for the amusement of the public.
Oh, just like hanging and stuff?
Yeah.
Go ahead and read.
The temple's sacred relics were taken to Rome where they were displayed in the celebration of the victory.
Okay, let's move. I'm gonna scroll down just a little bit, bro.
Okay.
We're gonna read. I'm gonna highlight it right here, and then we're gonna jump back to the other. Read that, brother. Let me see. I'm gonna make sure I got everything what I want you to read in there, because it's going in here talking about what we read over in Deuteronomy. We just confirming what's written in the books. What we read over in Deuteronomy and Leviticus 26. What does it say right there?
It says, when the temple was ablaze,
Mm-hmm.
the attackers plundered it, and countless people who were caught by them were slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
There was no pity for age, nor was regard accorded rank, and no regard was accorded rank. Children and old men, laymen and priests alike were butchered.
Mm-hmm.
Every class were pursued and crushed in the grip of war, whether they cried out for mercy or offered resistance.
Hey, did you say the Deuteronomy that this right here, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 50? He said these folks got a fierce countenance that they're not going to regard the person of the old or the children and everything. So we know this right here is true then, right? It's what we got on here. Is it? That's it?
That was it for that one.
Okay, let's go back to, I'm gonna take this down. Let's go back to that other one.
They were starving us out too, and they would cook outside our walls and fan the smoke from the cooking meat over the walls, knowing we would starve. And you know what I'm saying? That's what drove us to take them babies and eat them babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this one right here, I'm gonna go down to the destruction, and we're going to pick it up. We're gonna pick it up with Josephus on his account. Okay, trying to make sure I'm on the right one.
Give him a little background on who Josephus is, bro.
Well, he was an Israelite. His real name escapes me at the moment, but it wasn't Flavius Josephus. That was the name he was given from his oppressors. You know what I'm saying? He's basically an Israelite historian. He give you a detailed, very detailed rundown of just about everything, all our wars, every captivity. He even got a disposition with the Greeks where he talk about what happened to the soul after death. You know what I'm saying? Which lines right up with Ezra and Luke 16 as well. So that's who that brother is.
Okay, go ahead and read that, brother.
Start up here.
No, start right
Start
here.
right
This
here.
highlight. Yeah, just
And
read
then
down
read
in there.
down. All right. Josephus had acted as a mediator for the Romans, and when negotiations failed, witnessed the siege and aftermath, he wrote. Now, as soon as the army had no more people to slay or to plunder, because there remained none to be the objects of their fury, for they should not have spared any, had there remained any other work to be done. Titus Caesar gave orders that they should now demolish the entire city and temple, but should leave as many as the tower standing, as they were of the greatest eminence.
Remember when Messiah was telling his disciples, hey, you see all these things about the temple being, the wall being torn down and the bricks been thrown down? Now he giving orders to do that. Go ahead and read.
That is Phasaelus and Hippicus and Marimene, and so much of the wall enclosed the city on the west side. This wall was spurred in order to afford a camp for such as were to lie in garrison in the upper city, as were the tower, the three forts also spurred, in order to demonstrate to posterity what kind of city it was and how well fortified, which the Roman valor had subdued. But for all the rest of the wall surrounding Jerusalem, it was so thoroughly laid even with the ground by those that dug it up.
Oh, so Messiah told them that it's going to be leaving with the ground. So what them dudes over there bumping their head up against the wall? What's that? Yeah.
Is a lie.
They over there bumping their head up against the wall to my nanu.
Yeah,
What in the world is that? The what?
The failing wall.
The failing wall, right. Go ahead and read.
What they were saying about what nanu.
Nanu. You ever heard him say that?
I thought they were gonna walk it in.
Yeah, more committed. Let's go and check him out. Go ahead and read.
It says, it was so thoroughly laid even with the ground by those that dug it up to the foundation, that there was left nothing to make those that came thither believe it Jerusalem had ever been inhabited.
There you go. Go ahead, read.
This was the end which Jerusalem came to by the madness of those that were for innovations.
Yeah.
Titus siege through difficulties exists.
Hold on for a minute. You skipped something, my brother.
Oh, my bad.
Where did you stop? Right here?
Yeah, I read the whole on down. I'm up here.
There you go. Start right here. When you go to Innovate Age, what?
Oh, okay. So this is the next page.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It says that a city otherwise of great magnificence and of mighty fame among all mankind, and truly, the very view itself was a melancholy thing. For those places which were adorned with trees and pleasant gardens were now become desolate country.
Yeah.
Every way, and its trees were all cut down.
Now, Jerusalem's a beautiful place. I'm gonna show you a few pictures once we finish reading this, and you'll wonder why. The Messiah was well, he wasn't just crying because of the beauty. He was just talking about the people. He knew they was going into captivity, and he had this vision. He was seeing everything was going on. That's why he was wailing. That's why he started crying over the city. Go ahead and read.
It says, nor could any foreigner that had formerly seen Judea and the most beautiful suburbs of the city,
Mm-hmm.
and now saw it as a desert, but lament and mourn sadly at so great a change.
Mm-hmm.
For the war had laid all the signs of beauty quite waste, nor had anyone who had known the place before had come on a sudden to it now. Would he have known it again?
Mm-hmm.
But though he, a foreigner, were at the city itself, yet would he have inquired for it.
Okay, pick up at Josephus right there, read down to where it says the death toll.
Okay, well, you got to highlight it, right?
Right.
Right here, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Josephus claims that 1.1 million people were killed during the siege,
Mm-hmm.
of which a majority were Jewish. Josephus attributes
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
this to the celebration of Passover, which he uses as rationale for the vast number of people present among the death toll.
Mm-hmm.
Armed rebels.
Okay, skip down to I'm gonna highlight it on here, and we're gonna see what happened to the children. Let me get down here and highlight that. Because he said that your children shall go into be led away into captivity, right?
Right.
Go to read that, brother, down to what's said to
I
Judea.
highlighted it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It says those under 17 years of age were sold into servitude.
Mm-hmm.
Josephus's death toll assumptions were rejected as impossible by Seth Schwartz.
See, you're right, because he said if you go read Deuteronomy 28 and hit verse 32, it tell you that your children should go into captivity,
Right.
and you're not gonna enjoy them. Well, go ahead, bro.
As according to his estimates, at that time, about 1 million people lived in Palestine.
I don't know who this Schwartz, whatever. Go ahead and read.
Right. About half of whom were Jews, and sizable Jewish populations remained in the area after the war was over, even in the hard-hit region of Judea.
Yeah.
His
So-
number can't be off. I'm gonna tell you why, if you don't mind.
Go ahead on.
Because that was around, it say Passover.
That's right, bro.
So all the brews we scattered by this time, guess what the commandment was? You got to make up those brews.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't doubt 1.1 million people. And a heathen in 1984 gonna come around years later and say, come on, man.
But you know, with let me read this. Now let's read this let's read this last thing, and then we're gonna hit these few more scripts and we'll be done. This right here is the excruciating famine. They were talking about the famine. He said that they're gonna be eating their children, right? Let me get back to this right here. We're going to read out of this book. Let's put it in a little closer here. I don't have the literature that I can put. You can show them up there. But go ahead. We're going to read. Go to excruciating famine.
This Josephus right here, we got this book, just showing it on the thing.
Right. Let me see that. You're going to read out of here. We're going to read out of Josephus. And they talk about the excruciating famine. Where he said there's going to be a famine, and they were starving them in that land. So we're going to read, get to it right quick. This is going to be in chapter 26. This chapter 26 and page 358. We're going to read from here, T, over to read this. And then we're going to read down what you're talking about to the right here.
Okay, to this paragraph right here, to the end of this jump right here.
Right.
Okay, I guess.
Right.
All right. The excruciating famine from the complete works of Josephus.
Mm-hmm.
It says, in the meantime, countless thousands of Jews died of hunger. In every house where there was the least morsel of food, relatives fought over it. Gaping with hunger, the outlaws prowled around like mad dogs, gnawing at anything, belts, shoes, and even the leather from their shields.
Mm-hmm.
Others devour wisp of hate. And then there was the incredible horror of Mary of Bethsaida. Distinguished in family and fortune, Mary fled to Jerusalem for prayer, but her property had been plundered by the tyrants during the siege. Her food by the daily raids of their followers. Mad by hunger, she seized the infant at her breast and said, "Poor baby, why should I preserve you for war, famine, and rebellion? Come be my food." vengeance against the rebels, and the climax of Jewish tragedy for the world. With that, she killed her infant son, roasted his body, and devoured half of it, hiding the remainder.
Hey, David, we read that in Deuteronomy 28.
Yup.
That's right.
That, you know, the woman going to eat her child, you know, doing the siege. Now, this is doing the siege, right? From one of all things. So these scripts are true, right?
That's right.
We reading a little history on it. Go ahead and read.
Instantly, the rebels arise, sniffing the unholy smell.
Yeah,
And boy, it said unholy smell.
unholy, that's right.
And threatening her with death if she did not produce what she had prepared. She had reserved a fine portion for them too. She replied, uncovering the remnants of her baby.
Mm-hmm.
They stood paralyzed with horror. What? This is my child and my action, she said. Help yourselves, for I've had my share. Don't be weaker than a woman or more compassionate than a mother. But if you're squeamish and disapprove of my sacrifice, then leave the rest for me. Now, why was they trembling, horrified, and they the ones who seized us?
So they sound like to me they had a little compassion on them for a little bit.
Yup, them two right there, at least they did.
Hey, let's go to, I know this not in the lesson, but hold it right there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. We'll read one verse. Deuteronomy 28, but we're going to pick up at verse 57. We'll read that one verse. Deuteronomy 28 and 57. And then we'll jump back. We can drop that T. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 57. What did it say, bro?
Toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet,
Mm-hmm.
toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege.
Yeah, what
straits.
siege? We talking about the siege when Titus them came and sacked Jerusalem, right?
That's
And
right.
searched Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
Hey, that's true. So we know this is happening. He said we know it happened because he said in Deuteronomy and he said in Leviticus it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Let's go to Zechariah. Let's move a little farther. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11. There's some other books, you know, this is a good book. The book to read is Babylon, from Babylon to Timbuktu. You get it on Amazon. Zechariah chapter 11, we'll read verses 3 through 8. What does it say, brother?
There is a voice of howling of the shepherds for their glorious spoil. A voice of the roaring of the young lions for the pride of Jordan is spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Thus said the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
Who is the flock of the slaughter?
Israel.
That's Israel, isn't it?
Yep. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we see that in courts and stuff, dude. They'll shoot you down in the street and go to court. Oh, he's not guilty.
Yep.
Or she's not guilty.
He had to slap it high five too.
And
In the name of law enforcement.
right. And they not only do they have the power to kill us, and they had the power to not hold themselves guilty.
Right. Name of law enforcement and neighborhood watchmen. Sad but true. Go ahead and read, bro.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
That was Nathan Bethel Forrest said, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And their own shepherds pity them not.
The pastors ain't even thinking about it. Just bring me the money. Creflo said, I want my stuff. He want a jet.
You gonna get it?
The other dude, what's the other guy? He want to buy his wife another dog. And guess what? The member's gonna buy it too. Go ahead and read.
Says, for I will no more pity. I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, said Yahweh. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, into the hand of his king, and they shall smite the land. Out of their hand I will not deliver them.
Because he showed it delivering them back in 70 AD, didn't it? Go ahead and read.
And I will feed the flock of the slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves, and I called one beauty, and the other one band. And I fed the flock 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
My soul loathed them, and their soul also abhorred me.
Hey, them last kings we had,
That's
was
right, brother.
he cut them off, smooth off. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Because he's gonna see. Let's give us a little hope. Let's give the people a little hope, people. I got to keep reading this myself. At the end of the day, you'll be like, he can say, all you had to do was just read my book and keep my word. That's all you had to do. But y'all didn't want to do that. That's why you got to separate yourself and be amongst people on one accord. Because now you still trying to flirt with the people out here doing all these things, you're gonna be right there. In other words, you be straddling the fence with them.
That's right.
You might as well go on over there with them. You straddling the fence. One day you're an Israelite, next day you're a heathen. Next day you're an Israelite, now you want to be with the nation. Deuteronomy 31, read verses 1 through 8. Just a little hope for Israel. What did it say, bro?
And it shall come to pass,
Mm-hmm.
when all these things are come upon thee,
Mm-hmm.
the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord God thy God have driven thee,
Uh-huh.
and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day,
Mm-hmm.
thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thine soul.
Yes, sir.
That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
He gonna do what?
Turn thy captivity,
Uh-huh.
and have compassion upon thee.
So all we got to do is just turn back to him with all our mind, my sons and everybody. Just turn back to him wholehearted. He's here, turn your captivity. So this has been written in this book for a long time. And Israel still ain't turned back up. Some of us doing it. That's why he a little sanctuary to us, you know.
That's right.
That's why he's keeping the enemy off us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He having a little mercy on us. So we read in Leviticus that he said, hey, I won't cast them out. I'll be there, be a little sanctuary to him. I had compassion on him. But we got to finish this sentence though. That's life sentence for us, ain't it?
That's it, brother.
Until we get at this.
Man, what you said.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and read,
It
bro.
says in verse 3, middle verse 3, and will return and gather thee from all the nations which the Lord thy God have driven thee.
And he's gonna do that.
Scattered thee.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of thine be driven out into the outmost parts of heaven,
Mm-hmm.
from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee,
Mm-hmm.
and from thence will he fetch thee.
Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee in the land which thy fathers possessed,
Mm-hmm.
and thou shalt possess it. And he will do good, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy father.
So look here, when we go back to the land, that's where all the blessing coming from. You well taken care of. Children gonna be blessed. Land be blessed. Cattle, everything. But as long as you outside the land, that's where you get your head cracked. If you're not under them heads, is their protection,
That's right.
and he taking care of you and everything, done.
That's it.
We didn't get too comfortable in this lane.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we, bro?
Verse 6.
Verse 6, go ahead.
It says, and the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart,
You're gonna get your heart right, right?
and the heart of thy seed,
Mm-hmm.
to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart,
Mm-hmm.
with all thine soul, that thou mayest live.
Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemy.
He gonna do what?
Put all these curses upon thine enemy.
Oh, so we seeing some of this now. Ain't it? Are we not seeing some of these diseases, sickness and disease and stuff?
Opioid crisis.
Man, opioid crisis off the chain.
Yep.
I never forget when I was still working for the city. The guy came by in the ambulance and said, man, we made 11 opioid overdose.
Yep.
He said 3 of them didn't make it. 11.
But it's just repayment.
Yeah.
They put crack in our neighborhood now. They got opioids.
That's all it is.
They got meth. They got meth prices now.
Hey, you see more.
Planned Parenthood was created for us.
Yeah.
Now they lead in abortion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why that's right. Because that Planned Parenthood, remember back in the 80s, they were blowing up, 90s, they were blowing up those abortion clinic. They weren't blowing them up because our women, our sisters were taking it, going in there doing that. They were doing it because their children was on that, going in there doing that stuff. It's like with opioid. Now they got the police. They got the,
Little Narcan shit.
yes, sir.
Hey.
It's not for you.
No.
It's for them.
Man, where was that in the crack era when our people was overdosing? You know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. Now it's been prophesied. We waking back up.
That's right.
Now all this stuff starting to happen to them. All praise to the Most High.
Hey.
The word did not come back forward.
Out there where I live, out there in Cordova, man, I see so many homeless Gentile heathens out there. I'm like, man, where all these jokers coming from?
And you start to see more and more of us move out to spots like Collierville and like all this stuff starting to reverse.
Man, this stuff slowly, but we're not even paying no attention to it. We're not paying attention to it. And then I see another thing, a whole lot of us are waking up too. So you see a lot of us waking up, you start seeing Abba popping them on these folks on their head. Look at school shootings. You know, they got all this stuff going on.
Like you said, that's what they started that school stuff for.
Mm-hmm.
For them, because they the one, like when you was teaching last week,
Mm-hmm.
it was them that was doing all the shootings in the school.
Right.
That was easy.
Yeah.
You don't hear about Martin Luther King High and being shot up.
You might hear an individual, somebody might have gotten into it.
Right.
Yeah. Then you looking at like most of their arenas and stuff, like their concerts and stuff. He put that thing back on their head. Look at all the land. Look at California burning up. Look at Florida sinking underwater.
Locust plagues and
Man, locust plague. Man, tearing the joke. It's just it's these Hamites too.
Hey,
These other
you
nations.
don't hear about Washington burn up too. It's them
Sold on.
houses in the hills.
Sold on.
Hey man, that's what I'm saying. All them
Sold on.
$20 million homes being burned up, they out there crying and carrying on.
Compton cool like.
Yeah.
Man, they chilling. They chilling out there.
Compton kind of quiet at night now.
Yeah. I even look at it out here though, like when it's storm and tornadoes and all that. I always turn on the TV and hear Collierville flooded, Collierville here, and we over here in Raleigh just kick back,
Laid back.
boys. You know what I'm saying? Chilling.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's word in scripture.
Where are we, brother?
We are at verse 8. We at verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yep. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
and do all his commandments which I command thee this day.
Hey, everybody was talking about, man, I want to get back at the heat. All you got to do is go back and start keeping law, statutes, and commandments.
That's how you get back at the
And let the Lord take care of all that other stuff. Man, it's plain and simple. Let's look at somebody who's tied in captivity. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 1. We all should be doing this. Nehemiah chapter 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 11. Let's see how Nehemiah got down. 6. Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. We got 3 more after this. What did it say, bro?
The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah.
Yeah.
And it came to pass in the month of Chislev, and in the 20th year, I was in Shushan the palace.
Uh-huh.
And Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, and certain men of Judah. And I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
They said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach.
Mm-hmm.
The wall of Jerusalem is broken down,
Mm-hmm.
and the gates thereof are burnt with fire.
Yeah.
And it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept,
Mm-hmm.
mourned certain days, and fasted, and prayed before the God of heaven, and said, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God,
Yes, sir.
that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Let thine ear now be attentive, and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel,
Yeah.
which we have sinned against thee, Both I and my father's house have sinned.
Hey, Nehemiah getting down, ain't he?
Yeah, he getting down, bro.
Sound like Nehemiah tired of this captivity, ain't he?
Man, that's what I'm talking about.
We need to go home and get down like Nehemiah. Go ahead and read.
Yeah. We have dealt very corruptly against thee,
Yes, we have.
and have not kept the commandment,
No, we haven't.
nor the statutes, nor the judgments,
Mm-hmm.
which thou commandest thy servant Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress,
Mm-hmm.
I will scatter you among the nations.
Yes, sir. Leviticus 20 and 33, right? 26. Go ahead.
Yep. But if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them,
Mm-hmm.
though there were of you cast out unto the utmost part of heaven,
Y'all making too much. Go ahead, bro.
the utmost part of heaven, yet will I gather them from thence,
Mm-hmm.
and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Now these are thy servants and thy people,
Mm-hmm.
whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power,
Mm-hmm.
by thy strong hand. O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to thy prayer of thy servant,
Mm-hmm.
and to the prayer of thy servants, who
Mm-hmm.
desire to fear thy name and prosper. I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man.
Yes, sir.
For I was the king's cupbearer.
Man, it sound like Nehemiah. He ready to get up out of that. But he already said, hey, we turn back, we start confessing our sins and everything.
Yeah.
Just think it's the whole nation done that.
Wow.
This thing can be over with.
Joel chapter 3. We got two more after this. Joel chapter 3. Try to give us a little hope. 'Cause I don't know about y'all. I know that some of y'all might be cool with staying here, but I'm, I gotta go pay Caesar his taxes.
That's what I'm saying. Root said we gonna be subject to payments.
Yeah.
Well, you one line every month, it's some payments due.
Every time you go to the store,
Some payments due. Right.
But you know what? Pay back.
That's right.
Joel chapter 3, we'll read verses 1 through 9. What does it say, brother?
Verse 1 through 9.
Yes, sir.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem,
Yes, sir.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat,
Yes, sir.
and will plead with them there for my people
Mm-hmm.
and for my heritage Israel.
So he ain't gonna be down there. Will y'all please just
no.
give it a try? So it'll be some head whacking, ain't
Nah,
it?
not that type of plea.
Go ahead and read.
It says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land,
Mm-hmm.
for they have cast lots for my people,
Yeah.
and have given a boy for an harlot,
Mm-hmm.
and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Yeah.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre,
Mm-hmm.
and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense?
Mm-hmm.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense on your own head.
You know, folks always try to buy their way out of, you can't buy your way out of this.
I ain't playing.
He ain't playing.
Nah, he ain't playing.
Go ahead and read.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Mm-hmm.
The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians,
Mm-hmm.
that ye might remove them far from their border.
Yeah.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them,
Hallelujah.
and will return your recompense upon your head.
All praise to the Most High.
All praise.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of
See,
Judah.
you know what? A lot of people don't want to read this
Nah.
to these Gentile nations, man.
Nah,
They don't want to read this to these other
Nah.
nations because they try to make them feel comfortable.
right.
We're going to read that one more time.
God
Yeah.
would do that.
Yeah, roll like that young lion. Let roll, young lion. Let these people, let these nations hear that.
Don't be like that old line over there sleeping.
They don't be.
Hey, you sure got one of old line over his nine over there.
All right.
Hey, what are you gonna do
Say,
to other? What are you gonna do to the other nations?
He said, and I will sell your sons
Yes,
and
sir.
your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah,
Yes, sir.
and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans,
Mm-hmm.
to a people afar off, for the Lord have spoken.
It's going to happen. I don't care Some of these Christian Hebrew Israelite class. Look here, I'm telling them today, y'all gonna be sold. Them people gonna be sold. The other nation gonna be sold. Their sons and their daughters.
And the Sabaeans can't be no dilly do neighbor type
No,
people.
they not.
Like he ain't just finna have y'all say out to the Sabaeans and they gonna be like, how you guys doing? How you Greeks doing? Nah, the Sabaeans gotta be like on some people with some ISIS type attitudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's your recompense.
Maybe it's them brothers up there in New York on them corners want to get at these. I don't know. We're gonna scratch your back. We're gonna take a razor, cut your arms off. I don't know. We're gonna hit you in the head with a billy club.
So when you get sold to us and you disobedient to us, guess where you going? You want me to call them Sabaeans down here? Nah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It might be them brews up in New York, man.
We gonna see. Nah, I don't. Not in my research, I ain't really just trace them back to know where it is.
But that name alone, even in the English tongue, sound kind of. We need to look.
Yeah, it ain't nobody nice.
We had to look that up in the Hebrew tongue and see what that means.
Yeah, they're just saying Sabaeans, and start beating somebody.
Maybe it's them Hamite here. I don't know. Go ahead and read. Well, they're gonna get their head cracked too.
Yeah. It say, to a people afar off, for the Lord has spoken.
Yeah.
Proclaim this among the Gentiles.
Proclaim among the who?
The Gentiles.
Yeah.
Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men.
So y'all want to get at the brews?
Read that again, bro.
All right. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 31. He said, bring on up.
No, get on up.
Yeah.
Get on up.
Y'all want to smoke?
Yeah, come get it.
Jeremiah 31. And we're going to read verses 1 through 2. We got one more after this.
Man. That's the original.
If y'all want to be in on this, hey, you got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments. Hey, you better get to work. We dealt with that last night. We're going to do part 2 on it. We got a lot of work to do. I want in on this.
Yes, sir.
I know y'all want to hang out in America.
No, America.
Down there.
Turn it up.
I hate it. I tell the Most High I hate it every morning I wake up when I pray. I hate it.
You ready for Babylon to be destroyed?
To be destroyed in 1 hour.
Jeremiah.
1 hour.
Yeah. Jeremiah 31, we're going to read verses 1 through 2, and we'll skip down and hit 8 through 11. Go ahead and read, my brother.
At the same time, said the Lord, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people.
He said, I'm going to be the God of all the families of Israel, and they're going to be my people. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel. When I went to cause him to rest.
Skip down to 8. Because this during the Great Tribulation caused them to rest. They had to go into the wilderness, right? Go down to skip down to 8 and pick it up.
Behold, I will gather them from the north country, gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return them. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel. Ephraim is my firstborn.
Yes, sir.
Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him.
Yes, sir.
And keep him as a shepherd doth his flock.
So we ain't worried about nobody else. Messiah will come and get us, right? He promised, right? I believe that.
We're verse 11.
Verse 11, go ahead.
For the Lord have redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he.
That was all them other nations. Let's go to last place, Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. He said he coming back to get his people.
Right.
And he gonna crack these heathens upside the
So
head.
it don't matter if you pregnant, if you having the baby, the women that travail, the women gonna be coming back to the land pushing babies out.
Yep,
He don't care. He bringing his people back.
yep.
All praise.
You can scratch, claw, and all that up. Well, you know, a lot of folk, you know,
Can't
you're gonna
say,
bring the
you
righteous
know,
now.
Lord, just wait and come back to after I had this baby.
Mhm.
Come on now.
Nah, you
I'm a
leave it now.
Gentile anyway. Wait, come on here.
Isaiah chapter 11, we read verses 1 through 16. Go ahead and read, my brother.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
and a branch shall grow out of his roots.
Yes, sir.
And the spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
neither reprove after the hearing of his ears.
Mm-hmm.
Or with the righteousness he shall judge the poor,
Mm-hmm.
and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth.
Yes,
And
sir.
with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Who are you talking about?
The abomination of desolation.
Go ahead and read.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins,
Mm-hmm.
and faith and faithfulness the girdle of his reins.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together.
Mm-hmm.
And the little child shall lead them.
Mm-hmm.
And the cow and the bird shall feed them. Their
Mhm.
young ones shall lie down together.
Everybody at peace with each other, right?
Mm.
But this ain't happened yet, right? Why? Because Israel out of pocket.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And the lion shall eat straw like the ox.
Mm-hmm.
And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp.
Mm-hmm.
And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den.
Oh, they gonna be messing around with them snakes and stuff, ain't they?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain.
Mm-hmm.
For the earth shall be full of knowledge, shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
as the waters cover the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
which shall stand for an ensign of the people,
Yes, sir.
and to which shall the Gentiles seek,
Mm-hmm.
and his rest shall be glorious.
Hmm.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people,
Yes, sir.
which shall be left
Mhm.
from Assyria and
Yes,
from
sir.
Egypt,
Hello,
Yes,
man.
and
He
from
said, yes, sir. He done did that. Go ahead.
and from Pathros,
Mm-hmm.
and from Cush,
Yeah.
and from Elam,
Yeah.
and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Y'all look these places up. That's a little homework for you.
We
Go ahead and read.
this verse 11 this verse 12 gonna tell you who them Gentiles in verse 10 he was talking about was.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Go
It's in
ahead.
the Old Testament, the prophet.
Yes, sir.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and shall assemble the outcasts,
Come on now.
the outcasts of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart,
Mm-hmm.
and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Go ahead.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah,
Yeah.
and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
Two houses gonna be together. They ain't gonna be warring with each other in the
At the
morning.
same time.
At the same time. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines
Mm-hmm.
toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together.
Yes,
They
sir.
shall lay their hand upon Edom and
That's
Moab,
right.
Mhm.
That's right.
and the children of Ammon shall obey
Can't
them.
wait.
That's right, because these the instigators right
Can't
here.
wait. Can't wait.
You got these two instigators, but these the same folk. But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This the instigator right here.
Mm.
So Edom ain't my brother.
We're gonna lay some hands on him.
Not as a whole, then
That's right.
certain individuals might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
to crack some weeds though.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It
15.
said, verse 14, no, verse 15.
Yes, sir.
It says, and the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea,
Mm-hmm.
and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river,
Mm-hmm.
and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry
He gonna do the same
Yes,
thing
sir.
like he did them when they came through Egypt. Then they went over Jordan and everything. Gonna hit them again. They gonna walk right on through there. That's a lot of folk coming through there. That's that highway, eh?
That's it, brother. That's it. That's what it is.
the Nile River, the Egyptian sea.
Mm-hmm. What that 16 say, bro?
It said, and there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people,
For his people, right?
which shall be left from Assyria,
Mm-hmm.
like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
That's right. I'm gonna leave it there. Hey, we at least be giving our people some hope during this curse, this captivity, and the recovery of these people. That's the lesson. We're gonna end it right there. Next week we will have who we got next week.
I'm up.
Okay, Brother T, Brother Terrence, and Brother Charles. Yeah, Brother Terrence and Brother Charles. They're gonna be up next, trying to finish out this Hebrew history
So
series.
we got one more after that. We got that fifth Sabbath.
Right,
Young line up on that last Sabbath of the month.
right.
Round it up.
So we're gonna go ahead and close out. And after this, we have any announcements. We'll go ahead and do the announcements. Where's my reading?
He had to go to the bathroom.
Who am I gonna step up?
I got you.
Or we will just wait on until we get back.
No, we're gonna close out. We got some stuff we need to go over after class.
Family, we're gonna go ahead and close out because we got some things we got to take care of.
In-house business.
We got these feast days approaching. Like I said, for those of you who wish to come and partake in the feast days, I will leave my email address in the chat room. If you plan on coming, please send me an email. There we go. We'll call everybody name out, but I got this new platform here. Do we go ahead on?
You wanna go ahead and close out, brother?
Okay, let's go ahead and close out. Let's go ahead and close out.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You got Bert Charles? Go ahead, my brother.
Ecclesiastes.
Uh-huh.
Let us hear a conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah. That's right.
That's right.
Get into this.
Shalom, shalom, family. Y'all have a good Sabbath.
He's gonna wait till everybody get back in the bed. Like everybody make a mad day.
Let's see what we got.
Everybody been holding off.
Shabbat shalom.